transition.
Oh, g'day.
Oh, what's up, everyone? We got Matt Wilson here. Who placed? What did you place?
Unofficial second, aka fifth.
At the New Zealand Open. So, what did you play today, Matt?
I played Big Titty Traps, aka Labrynth. And please refer to me as my nickname, the Amish Amateur. As you can tell by my beard, I'm pretty...
All right, Amish Amateur, can we have a look at the stick profile?
Yeah, so we played 3 of the actual good one. Best card of the deck. I don't think it really... It's basically heart and soul if you can't do anything. It's just female elders, really. 2 of the little one. This just searches your stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I really potatoed it with this one and forgot that you can like draw a card, but I mean, it just really summarizes New Zealand and everyone that I bet.
What else you
This guy. Then it doesn't really matter. 1 of this one, lovely. She's pretty insane, especially with the new trap card. You can really do some pretty cool combos and rip like up to 3 cards quite easily. The kind of the non-spice, but really just more of a tech choice for the New Zealand Open was I was playing free Ash. I expected a lot of branded and trap tricks because obviously Pac was hyping that to the moon. So I thought Ash was going to be a pretty solid decision. And then finally, 1 Lord. You can, again, with the new trap card, you can do some pretty neat things where you can bounce it back to your hand and then protect all the rest of your stuff. So that's the monster lineup. In terms of spells, basically just a lot of pots. And then, yeah, so if you can't find it, just draw for it. It's pretty as simple as that. Then finally I play 1 of the field spell. Personally, I think this field spell is pretty mandatory, especially if you're going into the mirror matchup. It's absolutely insane. Shout out to Ruben for showing me that. Again, it was also really good in this format because, again, a lot of trap tricks in the room. So if you could get this on the field and keep it sticking, you can destroy a lot of the holes before they activate it. Especially if you combine it with Terrors of the Overroot, you can pop one of their cards, set one of their traps, and then send it again. So it's, well, like obviously with other cards, I don't know, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
Yeah, there's a lot of like synergy between all the stuff, as you'd expect as it's not cut together. Clearly playing free of all the welcomes. Has to be done. This is definitely, in my opinion, the better one because you can do a lot more with it and it lets you trigger a lot of your stuff. For example, you can use this to bounce a card, set one of the big ladies, send it back to your hand, then special summon it. And because this saw a card leave the field, you can then reset this from the grave. So essentially you just have ultimate recursion and just keep cycling it. Then worst comes to worst, it's a compulse in the grave. So you're now essentially playing 6 copies of compulse. So that probably leads to the next one, which is 3 copies of compulse. Really useful to stop against Cash Terror because you can bounce back to Shangri Era. And also just, I know when I was playing against Dinosaur, I keep bouncing back his ultimate conductor Tarino in battle phase, and eventually went through all his resources, and then, yeah, it's pretty great. Other normal traps we played, 2 Dogmatic of Punishment, honestly pretty underrated. I think you kind of need to do it. Unless you're trying to fake out your opponent with the fake extra deck, Dogmatic of Punishment is such good value, especially with the new Tri Brigade cards sending Garura. Played 2 D-Barrier. I know a lot of lists I've seen have been playing free. I think 2's almost too much, especially because a lot of the matchups today, I play this 2 Mac Mech and 2 Sprite. Obviously, against Math Mech, it's good against Alan Burshin. However, because it's a link-based strategy, it is a little bit dead. But going with what I was thinking before, there's going to be a lot of trap tricks and a lot of branded and a lot of Cash Terror, cool XCs, cool fusion. You have a pretty good day going forward. And then Terrors of the Overroot. Great card, probably should play more, but just gonna be honest, haven't really played around for that much. Finally, best card of the day, best card of the tournament. Basically caused me to lose. Free evenly match. Shit's insane. I don't think it requires much more. And then best normal traps, free skill drain, 2 rivalry, and 1 Gozem. I know in other lists it's usually 1 and 1, but similar thinking, if we're going up against a lot of like what I'm saying, branded and a lot of trap tricks, they're going to be different attributes. ultimately I'd probably switch back to 2 goes and 1 rivalry, just because, especially now, it seems to be a lot more single like type strategies going along. But I think the list performed very well. I think it performed a lot better than I expected. I think playing Ash over 3 normal traps was the right call on the day, and I would highly recommend giving it a go, especially if there's a large, like big diversity at your locals. Going on to the extra decks, pretty, I'd say a little bit out there. So 2 Lingaribos, just because you don't want to get Airblade. Didn't happen, so waste space. Punishment targets. Yeah, that's it. So what you'll do is if you're versing big monsters, again, bring back the Dino matchup, they had a UCT, you'd send this off punishment effect to send this and then draw 1. So it's basically it's a pop 1, draw 1, or a pop 2. And worst comes to worst, it's in the gate. I never used this. This could be pretty much anything else. Any clouds? Fuck. Yeah, this is a good card. I didn't go into it, but someone thought it was good. Then finally, I'm a bit of a wacky dude, a bit of a zany guy. So I thought it was gonna be a lot of Cash, Sword Soul, and Terra. So 3 cherries targets. But there's trap tricks and drew cherries. I'm pretty sure this is just FU. Someone can confirm that. Yep, go look. And then continuing the zany look, 2 targets for Waking the Dragon. I'll explain that in a second. So move on to the side deck. Played free nut basically. Cash Terra, unless they're going for the set 1 or like the Bowden play, they're gonna go wide, especially if they're trying to block off all 5 of your zones. Give them the nut and you're pretty good. In theory, I thought this would work well because the 2 biggest decks would be Cash and Trap Tricks. So if you could get rid of Sarah, the engine would stop. And then if you're going against Cash, you can just tribute all their monsters and then continue your plays. 2 EV speaks for itself, nothing better. Did this against the Trap Tricks player, he lost his whole hand. Did it against the hero player, it's called Spell, couldn't summon any fusions. Free Judgment, because Judgment's great, who doesn't want to say no. This is where we get a little zany, Waking the Dragon. So what you can do if you've already got your board kind of set up going first and you expect to be basically back row hate coming in and you don't have Lord in hand, is that you can use the lovely activated trap, and then if there's no response you can chain Lovely Lady to set this. Oh no, Lady. Then the Lightning Storm will resolve, basically destroying all this, and depending on destroying the Waking the Dragon, popping it. And then you can go into Infiltrack if you're not versing Cash Terror or Raid Raptor, and essentially just have a body that's unoutable, especially in the mirror matchup if they decide to pop your back row without knowing. These are basically just automatic wins because they're unaffected by your opponent's traps. So that was the idea. Who doesn't love more floodgates? Depending on the matchup, you can work around it. So if you could use all 7, why wouldn't you? Well, not even 7, if you could use all 8, why wouldn't you? But again, you can just like customize and make some easy side out patterns with it and just really secure your position. These cards are actually insane going second, especially in the right circumstances, because if they don't have any negates, they lose a bit of their board in order to go into the restrictions. And this card was really clutch today, honestly. It was a lot better against like some decks because for example, when I was playing Dinosaurs, most of the extra decks and trying to get the situation together, they couldn't get to the extra deck, so there's a lot of commentary about it. Why did I pick Rivalry? Well, they've got no extra deck, we've just got UCT and you can just send it back to their hand, send it back to Spokes.
Dinosaur was quite popular today, actually.
Yeah, there was a few of them, so can't go wrong. And finally one cross out, because it would be really funny to cross out someone's welcome or big Labrynth. And I expected a little bit of Labrynth because New Zealand's full of degenerates like me who just want to play big titty traps. So thank you for filming with us, I guess.
Thank you, man. Any shout outs for that?
Shout out Ruben for kicking my ass 2 weeks ago and kind of teaching me the deck to about 50%. Turns out it's good enough to come second in New Zealand. Lol. Shout out the Vintage crew. I think everyone knows it. Cheers for drinks and hobby. Alright. And yeah, shout out to everyone. Shout out to the winner. Sansa, yeah, you know, for beating me with robots as an Amish man could not comprehend. And yeah,
All right.
cheers, man.
Cheers, man.